Hi YouTube, Future Nurse D here. I just wanted to make a quick video. Today I want to talk about my second time taking the TEAS exam. For those of you who have taken the TEAS exam already and you're going back to take it because you feel that your first score wasn't what you expected or what you wanted it to be, like I did, well, this video would probably be something that you're possibly looking for or would want to hear about. So I went and I took my TEAS test for the first time in January, I think January 5th, 2018, and I got an 83%. Granted, that is passing because in the area schools, the schools in my area, the TEAS exam score minimum that you need would be 62%. So yeah, 83%, that's good enough and fairly high, and that's in the advanced category. And so, excuse me, I clean my glasses. So for me, that felt like that's not what I expected, and that's not the best that I could have done. So many factors tied into me getting that score, and so I was tired as hell that morning, but and other factors. But basically, I didn't do the best that I could have done. Granted, that's a good score. Many people would be proud to have that score, but I just felt like that wasn't my best, and I like to give my best and, you know, give them the best score that I could have gotten. And so I went back. I actually didn't schedule another TEAS test because of that 83%. I had already scheduled another TEAS exam well in advance, because just in case I didn't do well on the first time around. So I scheduled the second exam for February 22nd. And between the first test and the second test, of course, I studied my butt off. After you take the TEAS exam, they give you this list of sections, and I guess the ATI study guide, which I didn't purchase, of which you could study or refer to, because in these particular sections you do not do well in. And so it gives you a PDF of these sections, and I'm guessing they are printouts or PDFs of what the ATI TEAS study guide actually looks like. So in the reading section, it would refer to sentence structure or something. I didn't do so well in that. I got like 9 out of 20 right, or something like that. And so it would refer you to that section. It would give you the PDF, and it would give you more information on that section, just a broad overview of basically what you need to study or what could be in that section. So I took that as a guideline of what to study, and I referred back to my MoMatrix study guide. I featured that in my other videos, so if you want to know what that looks like, please go watch that video. I'll link it at the end of this video as well. It's the yellow and black book. So I used that to study, and that was a great help. I used that to study in the first place for the first exam, and yes, I can say that it was a great help. But one of the resources that I did utilize the second time around, and I also said this in another video, is Quizlet. There is a certain community of people, I guess you could say, that have built their own little Quizlets surrounding the whole TEAS exam. So there's example questions in there, but some test sets actually have the TEAS exam questions in there. Not word for word, but I guess it's going off of people's memories. Like, they took the exam and then they came home and they were like, okay, I didn't know the answer to this question. It was a question about mountains or something like that, and they would put it in there, and then some people would even remember what were the choices for the answers, and so that was a great resource. Not that some of them didn't give you the answers, but they would have the questions, and you can go find the answers yourself. But basically, for me, the anatomy and physiology, my score went from a 70s percentile on the first time I took it to a 90 percentile the second time I took it, so that was good to know. But the burning question some people might want to know is, do they recycle the questions? Yes. I mean, I was expecting to have a different set of questions, but every single question on my exam was familiar, and basically it was on my first exam. So they just use the same questions all the time. At least that was my experience. It wasn't a different set of questions. It was the same. So yes, same set of questions. So the thing about my experience is that I applied for 5 schools, and 3 of the 5 schools take only your first attempt. So I had to use the 83%. However, that was good because they were on a points-based system. So as long as you got above the combination of your GPA and your TEAS score, as well as any of extra criteria you might meet, such as low income or, you know, previous medical experience, etc., etc., it's all based on a point system. So you get a specific number of points for your GPA, combined with your TEAS, combined with any extra criteria you may meet. As long as those points add up to above 70 points, they'll throw you in a pool to get randomly selected by a computer. So that's where I'm at right now. Even using that 83% gets me into that pool and qualified to be in that pool. However, for the university I applied for, it's also off of a point system, but it's so impacted that there are a lot of 4.0s and 95% TEAS scorers applying for that school. So yeah, that's just that. And another school that is not in my city but is about 45 minutes to an hour away, they do a points minimum, but they don't throw you into a randomly selected pot. They basically pick their people based on your scores. They rank you, and they also pick their alternates that way. So yeah, I'm looking forward to what can possibly come about with this selection. I'm very excited. But anyway, taking the TEAS test the second time around wasn't as scary, except for the fact that I was just nervous that I wouldn't score as good as I did last time. It's one thing to feel like you didn't do your best, but if you did below your best this time around. But anyway, I tried my best. I came out with a 90% the second time around, and it was the most awesomest feeling. Even though, you know, I'm sure there's a lot of people that score above 90%. I buckled down that night as well. I studied, I reviewed, and basically I prayed to God before I went in there and I took that test. And I didn't stress myself out the second time around. I just looked myself in the mirror and I said, look, I'm doing the best I can. Whatever will be, because I've studied my butt off and I'm not going to stress out about this. So I went in there. This time the internet did not reset. I took it at the university that I applied to. And yeah, it was a good experience. I took my time. For me, the time limit, I didn't run out of time. I was nowhere near running out of time. Anatomy and physiology, it's either you know it or you don't. I've said that before. But one of the books that I did use to review, because the last anatomy and physiology and microbiology class that I took was in December of 2017, so I just did a basic review with this book. But it's Cliff Notes, Anatomy and Physiology, and I featured that book in the video that I will be linking at the end of this video as well. So those were the things that I used. The Mo Matrix book, the brief little PDF that they give you to go over the things that you need to study more if you were to take the TEAS again, the Cliff Notes to review from my anatomy and physiology, and that was basically it, and Quizlet. So what I would recommend is that you get a good night's sleep before, pray, and you'll do your best. I mean, if you're taking it the second time around, chances are you'll do better the second time around because you've already been exposed to the questions, right? But anyway, I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye.